Thank you for joining us for Empowering Change, Aseema's journey of transforming lives. Join Sri Srinivasan in conversation with author and founder Dilbar Parakh, featuring insights from Danny Boyle, key contributors to Aseema's mission, and the children of Aseema. The hashtag is Powering Dreams, Changing Lives. Now, let me introduce you to our host, our moderator for today, Sri Srinivasan. And we will just have Sri unmute.
Good evening, everyone. Hello around the world. It's morning here in New York, and it's nighttime in India. Welcome to this very, very special session, this special event that we're all with you to celebrate Aseema, an organization that has changed countless lives and also shown us how we can help people in times of need. I'm delighted to be with you. We're going to do so much conversation about what's happening with Aseema and the journey of Aseema. We're also going to talk about this book, A Journey Beyond Boundaries, and we're going to interview Dilbar in just a moment. It's beautifully illustrated by Ashish and Vicky. And I'm going to just read you the back of this book for just a moment. You will hear from one of the voices that I'm going to read to you in later on the show. But it says, it deserves to be widely read. And that's from Danny Boyle, film director and producer. And you'll learn why he said that later on. We're also going to tell you about a comment here from Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Enables us to imagine a world in which education transcends borders, allowing every child to reach their limitless potential. This is all about how we can help children, how Aseema is already helping children, and how you can help children as well. So we want you all to go to aseema.org during the show or after and see how you can contribute, how you can volunteer, how you can participate. And please get this book if you can, because you will be supporting this very valuable NGO, nonprofit charity. And I want to now introduce you to Dilbar. And so let me tell you a little bit about her. Dilbar is the founder and chairperson of Aseema Charitable Trust. She's a passionate advocate for justice, choosing to leave her position as a lawyer with the International Commission of Jurists, the ICJ in Switzerland, to co-found Aseema. Her advocacy journey began at SNDT Women's University, championing women's rights, and deepened through her work in Asia and the Pacific. With co-founders Snehal and Neela, Dilbar has transformed Aseema into a respected organization empowering countless lives through quality education. Her dedication to grassroots change and belief in education as a tool for empowerment continues to shape a brighter future for many. I am so delighted that she can be with us. Please welcome Dilbar Parakh. Hi Dilbar, how are you?
Hi Shri, very well, thank you. Great to be on the show. Yeah.
We saw Santosh for just a minute. He'll be joining us along with some fabulous people. We are so delighted that all of your friends were able to join us and support us today. We are in a global conversation right now. If you're watching anywhere in the world, please tell us on the channels you're on. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We're also live on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. So please post your comments. Tell us where you're watching from. We want to hear from each one of you. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us about your own journey in doing good work to help people. Let's see who is here. Srikant is saying congratulations. Aman is saying a God-gifted NGO. Aseema, congratulations. Rekha is saying all the very best to the Aseema team, Dilbar and other panel members. Pragati says all the best. How do you feel seeing all these comments come in?
Okay. Wonderful, Shri. It's great to be here. It's great to have all these wonderful people join us, and it's an amazing experience. Yeah.
Here is Delna says, what a great moment. What a great woman whose heart is all Aseema, literally and figuratively. All the best on the panel. That is so cool. Rachel is looking forward to it. And Rachel and Carol are watching, and people are tagging their friends. I encourage you to do that. Tag your friends so they can watch it. Hajra, thank you so much. Bruce is watching, says, congrats, Dilbar, on LinkedIn. Look at people around the world are watching. All the best, says Geeta. It's Sachin, all the best. Pooja, all the best. Shiva, all the best. Aman, all the best. I love this, folks. Keep them coming. This will give us energy to keep talking to you, to sharing the wonderful stories of Aseema and what Dilbar and her entire team has done for the world to help so many people. But let's start by talking to you about your journey, Dilbar. You left a comfortable job in Geneva to come to India to start Aseema. Tell us about that journey.
I loved being in Geneva, honestly, Shri, and my work at the ICJ enabled me to travel to many countries. It enabled me to learn how the whole UN human rights systems work. And because I used to travel to different Asian countries and also work with grassroots organizations, I got a wonderful opportunity to see how we could make use of things, the UN, the human rights mechanisms, etc. However, and Geneva was a beautiful place, the mountains and the lakes. So while I enjoyed my time there, after about 4 years, I realized that we had on the one hand these beautifully worded, international conventions and laws, and then on the squalor on the ground. And I was who likes to work at the grassroots level, and I wanted to see what difference my work was making to people at the grassroots. And it was then that after about 4.5 years, I decided to quit my job, to leave Geneva and come back home to Mumbai.
Please go ahead, please.
Yeah.
And so how did you decide to do that, and what was that part of it? And I love Geneva, by the way, and I'm so glad you got to spend time there.
Yeah. I came back really not knowing what I was going to do, very honestly. And then with two of my very dear friends, Snehal and Neela, we got together and we started talking about what we should do. And we decided that we should do something for the poorest of the poor. We should do something in the areas where we lived. We should do something which was really going to make a difference to children's lives. And we said we'll work with children from very disadvantaged families, and we will give them very high quality education and the right kind of education. And it should be more of what was relevant to their lives, what was meaningful, what would help make them very good human beings, and which would help them to stand on their own feet. So this was really our goal at that time. We wanted to keep things simple, but we wanted to do things in a very practical and in a very honest way. In fact, in the beginning, as it's said in the book, there was no clear road or a destination. We just wanted to do things. We saw a problem and we knew it needed a solution.
Yeah, well, this is an amazing book. You can see I've bookmarked many different things. There's so much to learn in the book. Everyone should get it. But don't just listen to me when I say you should get this book. I'm going to show you a comment from someone who has a little more influence than both Dilbar and myself. And this is Priyanka Chopra, who posted just about an hour ago to her audience that people should get this book. That was kind of amazing. Tell us about how you were connected with Priyanka and how it came that she's saying, click on this link to buy the book in India and the US. Just go to aseema.org. This is an amazing thing. Someone who could be talking about anything, and she talks about so many things, but how did this moment come to be, Dilbar?
Shri, some years ago, we had done an art show. We had done an online art auction, and Priyanka our children do very beautiful art, as you know, and we have a whole range of products which we make from their art. And when we did this art show, we had a lot of celebrities who had endorsed the show, etc. And then we had offered conversations with them. And Priyanka was one of them. This was during COVID, such a difficult time. And we thought we really needed to do something really positive at such a time. So that was a wonderful show. And I'm most grateful to you. At that time, you had also given us a platform to talk about the art auction. And once again, Priyanka, as you know, has endorsed the book. And today, I'm so glad, while she couldn't be on the show, I'm so glad she's talked about the book. So I'm hoping that a lot of people get a chance to read it. Yeah.
Yeah, she also talked about it on Twitter, Dilbar, which is, again, so amazing. She sent it to millions of her followers. But this is not about celebrity. This is about how people can understand that we all have a platform, whether we're Priyanka Chopra or anyone else. And what do we do with that time? How do we connect? What do we spend our time in the world? And that's one of the things that I keep thinking about. And what you have done is so special. And in the book, you have so many quotes and so many stories. We don't have time to get into all of them. But there's a section about the project with the tribal community that you wanted to have happen. It might seem you're almost obsessed with that in the book. And it starts by saying, you do not have to be rich to be generous. You do not have to be rich to be generous. And so to everyone watching, you don't have to be rich to help Aseema. Right now, you can go on your platform, whatever platform you're on, WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter, share a link to aseema.org. Tell your friends about it. Maybe you can afford to buy the book. Maybe you cannot, but you can afford to share and tell friends. Text them, email them and say aseema.org, aseema.org, and then they can go there and then support Dilbar. So tell us about that particular project.
The Igatpuri project is something very close to my heart, Shri. I don't know if all my colleagues from Bombay watching this are not going to like this very much, but it is something extremely close to my heart. And the reason for that is that initially, when we went to Igatpuri, which was the year 2004 and 2005, we had initially thought we would set up a small center there for some of our Mumbai children who needed to move out of the home environment because they were facing abuse and difficulties at home. And when we studied Igatpuri, when we did a survey of the area, we were really quite aghast because this was a place just about 2.5 hours away from Mumbai, and we noticed at that time that some of the people there ate only once in 2 days sometimes. And when we visited the schools, we found that they were not really school. They were like very dingy sheds. There was infrastructure was extremely poor. The quality of the education was left much to be desired. So at that time we said we've got to do something in Igatpuri. And that is why we started our work over there. First with the pre-primary school and then with the entire school right from KG to the 10th standard. And now we have a lot of alumni there too, girls too, doing very well, wanting to study more. So it has made a difference. And I think this is what is needed really in India. Education in the rural areas, because there are a lot of NGOs working in the urban areas, but in the rural areas, so there's a need for a lot more work to be done. And also, again, given my nature, when I like to keep things simple, I like the simplicity of Igatpuri. I like imagine in which other place would a tribal lady, having an old frail tribal lady, having so little, come to us and said that, I know you want to educate our children. Here I have this land, but I don't need all of it. I'm willing to give you a portion of it. Where else would that happen?
Amazing story. And the book is full of stories. Everyone has to get this book. It's called Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries by Dilbar Parakh. I just want to read some of these comments here. Congratulations. Congratulations. Avinash says, I'm a proud student of Aseema. Pragat says, congratulations to Dilbar and the whole team. Amit on Facebook, congratulations, ma'am. Zair says, congrats to Dilbar and the Aseema family. Watching, of course, on YouTube. So we have people watching on all the platforms. Benno is watching and says, congrats from Elizabeth and Benno. Tell us about Benno.
Oh, Benno and Elizabeth are good friends. Elizabeth I was actually, Benno had come to India. He was the heading Thyssen Group. They are from Germany. And he came to India on work, and his wife, Elizabeth, volunteered at Aseema. For over 5 or 6 years, she volunteered with us in the Montessori. And when they went back to Germany, they set up an organization which now supports our vocational training in Igatpuri.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Benno. And everyone watching right now on the channel you're on, just tag a friend on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. They can watch this live or later. We know it's Saturday night in India. We know it's Saturday afternoon in Europe. It's early morning in the US in some parts. You're waking up, just tag a friend. They can watch live or later on all of these channels. We're celebrating this very important book. It's called Aseema, A Journey Without Boundaries. This show is called Empowering Change, Aseema's Journey of Transforming Lives. Everyone, please go to aseema.org. We'll read a couple of comments and then we'll bring on our next guest. Gargi says, what a moment for all of us. And Seema says, congratulations. Look at all the channels people are watching. I am flooded with comments. I cannot get to all of them. So if we don't get to your comment, just know that Dilbar is going to read all of these later. Zia says, not enough good things to say about Dilbar or Aseema. What a beautiful comment. And Arbaz is saying hello from Mumbai. Rehan is watching. We have so many people just watching, saying hello. Shraddha Singh is saying hello. What I'm struck by, please, if you want to do a shout out to anybody, you can. But what I'm struck by, Dilbar, is the range of people around the world, around India, different communities, different backgrounds, all knowing and celebrating Aseema, while of course we also have Priyanka Chopra celebrating Aseema. So can you summarize, because we're going to go to the next guest, can you summarize what it is that brings them together, and how can all of these people help? Because there's a challenge every day. Many people may think we've reached 25 years, we're all set, we don't have to worry, but we do have to make sure we are serving the folks we need for a long time, and you want this to be a sustainable long-term organization, as you already have. May I say this is kind of controversial to say, but we're just starting out. It's the first 25 years, doesn't mean the end of the journey, it's just the beginning.
Absolutely, absolutely, Shri. There is, first of all, a big thank you. So many of the people you have, we've read comments from have in some way been associated with our work. They have supported our work over the years, and it has been a wonderful journey. It has been with its ups and downs. There has been its fair share of challenges, and yes, supporting the organization and running it, it's grown from 18 children to over 9,000 children who we support directly and indirectly. So there's a lot of work to be done still, and it really is the start, because there are so many more things we need to do. When we said in the beginning that we had no real vision or anything. We just knew that there was a problem, it needed a solution. But now, after 25 years, we have a fairly good idea of what we want to do now and where we want to go. But that requires a lot of support. It needs a lot of help. And I'm hoping that everybody on this show and everybody also who's not watching will, kind of start knowing about what we do and be able to help us. Yeah.
Thank you so much, folks. That's Dilbar. I'm Sri Srinivasan. We are talking about Aseema. We're going to bring on some great guests in a moment. Marietta is watching from Geneva. It says such a courageous and meaningful life journey. And that's beautiful. So many comments. Can you feel the love? If you can, then let's get started. Everybody, please tag a friend. Please share with your friends and family, your colleagues on WhatsApp, aseema.org. They can go there and see everything that's happening. They can watch right now online. We're live on aseema.org also, so you can just tell that to folks. They can support us with money, support us with resources. Maybe your company can help us. Also, another thing you can do is just get on their mailing list. Email contact@aseema.org. contact@aseema.org. Just remember that and write to them. They'll add you to the mailing list. We are going to be meeting some fabulous people. So I know my producer Neil, who is working in the background, is wants us to keep moving. So we're going to keep moving, Dilbar, here. I'm going to introduce our next guest who is with us. Varun is here with us. Varun is an alumni of the 23-24 batch of Aseema Charitable Trust. He has achieved remarkable success with a 97% in the 10th grade, securing second rank across all the Bombay schools. His time at Aseema, where he excelled in academic, sports, arts, and practical life skills, was instrumental in his growth. And I am so happy that Varun can be with us now. So let's bring Varun. Hi, Varun.
Hi, sir. Thank you.
How are you, Varun?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Where are you right now?
I'm at the Aseema office for Nigeria.
Okay, in Mumbai. It's late night on a
Yes.
Saturday. I know teenagers like to have fun, but you're here. Tell me why you wanted to come here and be with us and support. I presume you call her Dilbar ma'am. So why did you do that?
So basically, sir, Aseema has now become my family because it was Aseema that had supported me when I was young. When I joined Aseema from senior KG, it just feels like just yesterday I have joined Aseema, and now I have grown as a proud alumnus of this esteemed organization. It has supported me with a lot of things, like from good resources to studies, practical approach towards studies, and even the approach here most was more on the holistic development of the students, like art, the yoga, sports. I was a part of room number 13, okay, which is a art, uh, like an art class in our school. So in short, Aseema was like a, sa- a savior. Yeah.
Oh, what a thing to say. We know you got to go to the Future Climate Innovators Summit camp, the summer camp in the UK. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. Okay. A very exciting question. Receiving a scholarship for Future Climate Innovators Summer Camp in UK was a life changing moment for me. Firstly, sir, I was very scared because it was my first international travel, and but the friendly environment there helped me to adapt myself very quickly. And the highlights of the events will include the interactive classes and the sightseeing in London, as it was my dream to see the Big Bang. And when I really saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I saw it. And even I personally feel like the the classes there were more that were the approach was mostly on the practical knowledge on various aspects of climate. This opportunity has given me a new perspective on life and all the possibilities that I can embrace in myself. I
That's
loved
amazing.
learning. Yes, I loved
I,
learning about the different cultures.
that's
Yes.
great. That's great, Varun. We're so glad to hear that. I don't think this is Rowan Atkinson himself, Dilbar, but Mr. Bean says, so glad Aseema is doing such great work. It's beyond comprehension of what hard work, dedication, and love for the children could you do something like this. Aarti says, congrats to Aseema and Dilbar. Incredible journey. We're so glad you're with us. Florence says, congratulations, Dilbar, ma'am. You're a superb person. So, Dilbar, what would you like to say to Varun? And what does Varun's story tell us about Aseema and what you've done? And then we'll go to our next guest.
Varun is an exceptional boy. He has been a student for many years with us. He is extremely hardworking. He's extremely humble. What an achiever. He stood second among all the school children in Mumbai. He's really a role model for the other children. So we hope, and now he's studying. He hopes to go to IIT. Uh, and do well for himself. And we are hoping that and we have a strong alumni association. So he will come and speak to the children in the school, which will motivate them that look, it's possible. Education can change everything, and you can really get where you want to go just through the right kind of education. And I have to say of Varun, it's with his academics, he's a very he has the right values, yeah, which is something we think is so important at Aseema, because we were set up not only to kind of get high marks in academics and just, go to very good universities, but also that how do we become good human beings? How do I think not only of me, myself, and I? How do I think of my family, my neighbor, and the world at large? Because today, this is the kind of education we want for children like Varun and all our others.
Yes,
This is
I
what
totally
we
agree.
want. Yeah.
Totally agree. Thank you. Roshni says, congratulations. Dilbar ma'am. Shabana says, long way to go. Almighty bless you all. Varsha says, congratulations. As you can see, they're all on these different platforms. They're sending in hundreds of comments, and I'm kind of flooded with it, but it's so nice. Varun, thank you. You're going to stick around because we're going to bring you back to talk to us in a group session in a few minutes. But let's go on to our next guest. Our next guest is Mamta Tilekar, who is a teacher in charge at the pre-primary and alumnus of Aseema Charitable Trust. She was in the very first batch of students, and she joined Aseema's Evening Center School in 1998, and she lived in a slum at Lalmitti, I'm sorry, and being a very promising young girl, was admitted to St. Joseph's Convent, where she completed her schooling in 2009, and then she attended Mithibai's College for senior secondary education and joined Aseema as an assistant teacher, and her journey, it just goes on from there. We're so happy now to have you all please welcome onto our stage here, Mamta. Please join us. Hi, Mamta. Thank you very much for being here. We're very happy to have you. How are you, and where are you right now?
I'm in Mumbai at Aseema office.
Okay. Do you wear beautiful saris like that every day? Dilbar is also wearing a beautiful sari, or because you're working, you don't have time to dress up like this, right?
Yes, this is a special occasion for Aseema, so to being the best.
Yes. Well, your journey is incredible. I don't know if people can understand what it would take to be in the first batch, and then all the years you spent there, and then you used to come early and you were the first to arrive and last to leave. I tell that to my children, my own students. I tell them that should be the impression you leave, but you did that. How did you have the energy, the resolve, the confidence to come every day and to be that conscientious?
I think it was Aseema, like Aseema teachers, which made me be there, and their innovative learning, their innovative teaching and giving us that learning, and the way teachers used to tell us stories and rhymes, which made us, be there for a longer time. And it's also about the love and the kindness that the teachers had that time.
Well, and now you're a teacher. I mean, that's the most beautiful part of the story. You were in the first batch, and then you became a teacher, and now you are Mamta ma'am to your students. And how is that? I mean, it says something about Aseema in a very special way. So talk about that a little bit.
I think this journey for me is a very beautiful journey, which I began, as you mentioned, in 1998. And as a child, I used to run in eagerly to class because my teachers used to teach me really beautifully. And as I was learning from there, I grew up that I want to be a teacher at that time. And then I after my higher school, I joined back and at Aseema as a teacher. And at that time, I did not have a formal training. And then very soon, I completed my Montessori diploma, which helped me to be uh, a, a good teacher at the pre-primary section. And then I became a pre-primary, and after so many years of experience, I became and in charge of the pre-primary section, which I am really privileged, and I'm very happy to see myself in that position today.
I love this comment. Look at this. Veena says, Mamta, you're giving back all the love and kindness now that you received all those years ago. So, Dilbar, let me have you just reflect on this amazing young lady and what she has done with her life, and now she's inspiring women. You see each other every day, so colleagues and especially bosses don't always get a chance. So this is your chance to talk to her.
I've known really Mamta for such a long time, and she's always been an amazing girl. Shri, when you asked that first question, first to come and last to leave, it wasn't just because she enjoyed the teaching. Let me tell you, she would stay back. She at that time there were very few of us, just a couple of volunteers, and we would work with the children. She would wait. She would help us to put everything back in the proper place, tidy up the room because we were in a room of Saint Stanislaus School. Would help us put away everything. All the other children would have left, but she would help her teacher do everything properly and go home. She is really a remarkable young woman. I know personally what Mamta has been through over the years. And it is a story and resilience, hard work, and it is really, truly amazing.
Yeah, Dilbar, I can hear it in your voice, and I completely understand. This is very emotional for you. I'm sure Mamta is also being very emotional. We have a lot of great speakers that we're going to bring on board. So everyone who's watching right now, a reminder, please support Aseema, support this book. This is a book launch, but it's also a story of everything that we have celebrated and done at Aseema. Here is the group of folks that we're going to be meeting. You already met Varun, you met Mamta. You're going to meet Anjali, who's on the board of advisors of Aseema, Santosh, who's the head of the alumni program. And I'm going to bring to you now Christine, who is the president of the Friends of Aseema. Let me tell you about her. We are so glad that Christine can be with us. Christine is the president of Friends of Aseema, a U.S. nonprofit supporting Aseema. Friends of Aseema has obtained tax exempt status in March of 2020. So they are ready to take your money. She's an attorney, and she first met Dilbar on an International Human Rights Fellowship in Switzerland at the ICJ, the International Commission of Jurists. She is working on her Hindi. She's a dog lover and has a collection of more than 1,500 board games. Please welcome Christine.
Hi, Shri. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being such a great supporter of Aseema. We are delighted that you could be with us. Reflect on what you've been hearing for the last few minutes.
Well, it affirms all the reasons that I am involved in this. I try to stay involved in this in all the spare time I can find. It's a corner of the world that proves that hope and change are possible, even with nothing, starting with nothing but a desire to help and persistence. And I think that's a really important point. Aseema also, for me, provides an opportunity for high impact giving. I don't think there are a lot of organizations out there that do that. Every dollar counts. Every dollar hits the mark. You can see in Mamta, you can see in Varun what Aseema has done for them. Dilbar is right. I met Dilbar in Switzerland. Like they do great work. But this, you can feel it, you can see it, you can measure it. And it's just, I encourage people to go there, honestly. If you need a dose of hope, and there's a lot of reason for that in the world today, go there. I went there. I went to the communities. I went to the schools. I saw everything before coming home to do the work of starting Friends of Aseema. And we have established a growing network of multi-ethnic donors of every stripe supporting this effort, learning about how you can have this impact, how you can change the world in whatever way calls to you.
And look at all these comments that are coming in, especially just about you, Christine. People are saying that you have done so much. You've been a passionate supporter of Aseema, says Rekha, and we really appreciate that. Thank you for everything you've done for Aseema, Christine. And so many other comments coming in as well, including I see Rajani. Congrats, Dilbar ma'am. May Aseema continue to touch lives, reach greater heights, and create a big difference. Wishing you more power and success. Dilbar, talk to Christine for just a moment and reflect on this moment. Here we are together, a global conversation celebrating everything that's happening in Aseema.
Christine, has been such a great help to Aseema. Christine, I don't even know if I've thanked you about this before, but really we've been able to achieve so much more because of what you have done for us in USA. So really a big thank you. And you're not just one person who donates to Aseema, but you're somebody who really goes out there and makes a lot of more people aware of uh, what is the ground reality, what we go through as an organization, what we are trying to do for the children. So first of all, really a big thank you. And maybe you would like to share with us that how you feel about being here today, Christine.
Well, it's a surprise in my life. If you had asked me 10 years ago if I'd be doing something like this, I would have said, what are you talking about? But I love this. I love that you exist. I should thank you for providing me with the opportunity to be involved in something like this. I'm a big believer also in global community, that the world is interconnected and we get too focused on our narrow portion of it. But if LinkedIn itself, this is airing on LinkedIn, LinkedIn has almost 1 billion users and across 200 countries. And the top two countries are the US and India. So if we're not so interconnected, then why are we all joined together on LinkedIn? It's an example of a place that proves global community exists. I think it's very enriching. It's been enriching for me to be involved, to learn about India, to learn about all this, and it would be enriching for anyone and encouraging and make them happy to be alive and part of this world.
Thank you. Sharon's watching, says, wishing Aseema another 25 years. Sharon Pereira, thank you. Susan says, Chris, I admire the amazing work you do every day for Friends of Aseema. And we should tell everybody about Friends of Aseema and how people can support. If you're in the US, how you can support Friends of Aseema. It's friendsofaseema.org. Tell us about it, please.
Well, we are headquartered here, but we have donors all over the country. We always can use help. We always want your support. And it's very easy to donate through that website. If you hit that button, it takes about 2 minutes to complete a donation, but there are many other ways to help us. So I hope you'll visit the site. I hope you'll look around. A lot of what you'll see there are from photos from Aseema, but also photos that I took on my trips there. There are testimonials that one of my board members, Robin Tom, and I filmed together. I think there's a lot to see and learn about Aseema on the Friends of Aseema site.
You're absolutely right. Everyone, please go to friendsofaseema.org and aseema.org and share this with your friends and family. Chris, you're amazing. Thank you very much. We're going to bring you back in just a moment, if that's okay. We're going to go on to our next guest is Anjali Patil, who is on the board of advisors of the Aseema Charitable Trust. She's a seasoned communications and marketing expert with 30 years of experience with global financial services companies in India and other Asian markets. And she has been a member of the board since 2015. She volunteers her communications expertise and as an accredited executive coach, offers pro bono coaching to staff members. What a wonderful thing. Anjali Patil, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me here.
So you're our expert on comms. How are we doing so far?
You're doing fantastically well. And I think having those comments being shown live is, I've not smiled like this for a very long time. I've been smiling.
Thank you. And we know that Dilbar deserves every accolade that she's getting. And we are just glad that she's able to see this. We're going to give her a moment to just relax off camera while you and I chat, and then we'll bring her back. Look at all these comments. You're right. It's pretty amazing. One of my favorite was someone watching from Iceland, right now. So tell us where you're watching from, folks around the world. Tell us. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to know what you're thinking and how you can support Aseema in its cause. So Anjali, there are so many charities in India. You know that. So everyone has a good cause. Everyone has a great story. How did you settle on Aseema to be one of your passions?
My story goes back really to 2007. And I was working I had joined Fidelity in India at that point in time. Fidelity had just set up their business in India for mutual funds. And as part of our corporate philanthropy initiative called Fidelity Cares, we were looking for an organization in Mumbai. And it's pure serendipity that Aseema came up actually alongside two others as part of an internet search, but then we invited them in to come and talk to us. And I will never forget that first presentation that has stayed with me. The two things that hit me straight away, and a few others who were in that room with me, were really one, the picture of the Palichimbai school as it was when Aseema took it over, and the refurbished school. And it was that transformation was really amazing to see. The second part, which was in parts disturbing, in parts compelling, was, and Dilbar talks about this in her book, where they told us that when the children come to school and when they go back, they don't know if their homes will be there. And if you go through the book, you'll read about the demolition drives where the children's homes are demolished not just once but multiple times, and the resilience this helps them build. But for some people like us who come from places with very stable homes, it's a very disturbing fact and something that doesn't go away. So those were the two compelling parts in the presentation. I have to say that meeting Dilbar, and I've been in a number of donor meetings alongside Dilbar, her conviction, her passion just shines through. So that carries a lot of it, and I've seen this over and over again. And I think what Christine said earlier is absolutely true. So for me, the most memorable moments were the first time I visited Palichimbai. And I think that kind of seals the deal, because you see the children, you see the joy, you know where they come from, you know the background, especially if you live in Mumbai. But when you see them, how eager they are to engage, how confidently they engage with you, how they speak with you, that's the sheer impact that you can see straight away. As donors, what we're looking for is impact. And I think Varun and Mamta being on the show, nobody really needs to say anything more. But if I may continue, there's two other things, especially because I've always looked at it from a corporate donor perspective as well, and those are funds that matter for Aseema. When we talk about impact, it's something that's in the book, the O-level exams, the equivalent of the O-level exams for Aseema, for all children in India. Aseema's pass percentage for schools is 98%. And that is in many years on par with the average across the state. In some years, it even beats the state. And we're talking about children from across absolutely all schools. It's not just the NGO schools. It's privileged as well as underprivileged. So that's an amazing statistic. And another one that particularly appeals to me, and I've confirmed this with Dilbar before and I'm building it up today, is even before diversity, equity, inclusion became the buzzword, Aseema's split between girls and boys in the schools has been almost on par. It's 48% girls to 52% boys, and I think for me that's a very, very important aspect. I'll stop there. I said a lot.
No, it's beautiful what you've been sharing and what everyone needs to hear and needs to know. I'm going to take myself off camera for just a moment so that the both of you can just talk to each other. And I want Dilbar to just have a word with you and share anything you'd like. But look at Rekha's note. Anjali ma'am is another big supporter of Aseema. We are very proud to have her as part of the Aseema family. So let's go to Dilbar. Yeah, over to you.
Yes, we really are very proud to have you as part of our family, Anjali, and so happy to see you here. And you've been such a wonderful support all these years, not only as a big donor, but also as a member of our board of advisors. And so thank you for that. And we really would like to see much more of you in the years to come. I know you live far away in Singapore, but it would be nice if we could do a lot of more things together. Yeah.
I've said to you, Dilbar, more than happy to be more engaged. But to your point about my support, what I want to say is really it's the least that people like us can do. You and the teachers and the social workers, they are the one. You all are the ones who are making what an incredible change. And it's just a very little contribution that we can support you from afar.
Look at these great comments. Thank you. That's so beautiful. And you and I, Anjali, have to talk about Singapore at some point and how we can
Sure.
get more people in Singapore involved as well. Amit says, I started my teaching career for Aseema. It was a wonderful experience. Samir says, I had the privilege of interning with Aseema and working there for a brief period. Dilbar is one of the kindest people I know. How amazing is this? And Peter says, thank you, Dilbar, for all the outstanding work you do to educate our children. Watching from Bahrain to Iceland to Singapore. We have, of course, people in the U.S. just waking up on the West Coast. Thank you for being here. Anjali, we're going to have you step off for just a moment, and we're going to introduce everyone to Santosh, who is the head of alumni programs at Aseema, who brings 2 decades of experience in social development. He grew up in the slums of Kurla in Mumbai, but he's gained firsthand insight into the challenges faced by children in similar circumstances. His 5-year tenure at Aseema, working closely with students, has been marked by his commitment to their development and success. Everyone, please welcome to our stage Santosh. How are you? Santosh, can you hear us? Please go ahead and share your thoughts, please. He might be having trouble hearing us. Santosh, can you hear me? If not, don't worry. We'll bring the whole panel, and then we will come back to you, Santosh, as we go through, if that's okay. So let's bring the entire panel back. There's Anjali, there's Mamta ma'am, there's Christine, and there's Varun. Santosh, if you can hear me, please feel free to speak up when you're ready. But I just want to have everyone just look at this amazing group that is working so hard for Aseema every day. And Dilbar, when you look at all of these people together and everything they're doing, please share your thoughts and maybe start by talking a little bit about the work that Santosh does.
Yes, I will. Santosh used to be head of our community work center, so close connect with the parents and the entire community and the schools. And now he heads the alumni program. As you know, we at one stage we thought, Aseema, we thought that when our children finish their 10th grade, the SSC exams, our work is over. But we soon realized that this could not be. Therefore, we help them with their college education at university, those who want to do vocational training, we help them with that. We not only give them financial aid, but we also help them to choose which careers they should take until the time they get employment. And Santosh heads that program at Aseema. And the rest of the panel here, it's I think not you, everybody who's watching the show, all the names I saw, I think that this book, I'm beginning to feel that the book is as much yours as it is mine, because all of you have played such a major role in, and when you read the stories in the book, whether it is from people in Mumbai or in Igatpuri, it's really it's everybody's book in a way. Yeah. So, Santosh, can you hear us?
Hello, yeah, I'm audible?
Yes, you're now audible. Yeah. If you can tell us a little bit about the alumni program. Yeah.
Yes, so it has been a great time for me being with the alumni. As we all know, there are thousands of children studying in Aseema schools. And once they are out of their grade 10 from Aseema school, it's a new world for them. They have to compete with the outside world, and it's the Aseema Alumni Association's job to help them prepare better. So we help them with career guidance, also provide them assistance in their college admissions, in university admissions, as many of our students nowadays go for self-financed courses like management studies, medical, engineering, business analytics. So they need to go for entrance exams for this admissions, as well as the fees are very high. So thanks to Aseema that we are able to support them with their fees. Also, we guide them through various scholarship programs and prepare them with the entrance exams. Some of our alumni have been able to get into prestigious colleges and universities. Like Kajal Kori, she has got 100% scholarship and she's studying her second year BA philosophy in Azim Prem University. Also, Sachin Mishra, who is studying his second year of Master in Computer Applications, he scored 208 All India rank in Maharashtra from an entrance test, and he also got a scholarship for his course. In fact, Sachin has he has been able to now secure a job with IT company, being a student himself. We also have a great success story of Shraddha Singh, who is now studying in China under United World Colleges with 100% scholarship. So through the Alumni Association, we are able to provide them the idea about the outer world, handhold them, and as we all know, education is the only way which can change the life of our students. And I would say I have been since 6 years with Aseema. It is not only about education. We go beyond education, visiting their homes, talking to their families, and it has been, I would say, a life-changing experience for me. And
Amazing, Santosh.
I always tell Dilbar ma'am as well as HR that I'm waiting to celebrate the. Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh, and thank you, everybody. We are here. You're seeing the range of, or just some of the range, though, really, of all the kinds of people who work with you and the people who have dedicated their lives as you have to Aseema, and what a difference they have made for these thousands of children. This is the book that we're celebrating, Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries, Dilbar's book about her journey with Aseema and her own story. By the way, Santosh, some nice comments about you. Noor Jahan says, he's an amazing mentor. And Ashish says, great working with you, Santosh, sir. And great work by Aseema Alumni Group, says Satendra. So there's lots of love everywhere. We have a lot coming up, folks. We have a second hour of the show, and we want to make sure that you get a chance to know who is going to be coming up. So we're actually going to just put up the card for the next hour, just so you know who's coming up. We have Mukul Pandya, who's going to be here, my dear friend, who's an associate fellow in Oxford's Said Business School board. We are joined by Minaz Qasam, who is at American University of Sharjah, Vibhas Madan, who is the dean at Drexel's Lebeau College of Business. Albi Anand Kurian is joining us from Exeter University in the marketing department. Indra Munshi from the Department of Sociology, the former head of the Sociology Department, University of Mumbai. Jerry Wind, Professor Jerry Wind, a legend, was supposed to be joining us from Wharton, and he's a deep supporter of everything that Aseema does. He's unable to join us for some health reasons, but Jerry sends his best to everybody. So let's go back to our current panel and just say that you've all set the stage for another panel with so many great conversations to come. Dilbar, reflect a little bit, and we will then move on to watch some videos and go on to our next session. I'm just so grateful to everyone who is here. Kyra says, beautiful story made possible by an amazing organization. Aseema is truly a force for change. I know we will want to screenshot that, Dilbar. Reflect and say hello to everybody. Dilbar will be leaving us with this panel, but she'll come on at the very end so she and I can talk to you one more time. But we have a whole hour to go. Please tag your friends. Please share this with them. Go to aseema.org, friendsofAseema.org, and you can donate right now. Please do that, and make sure you also write to Aseema, contact@aseema.org. contact@aseema.org, and we will make sure that you get the information you need. So Dilbar, over to you.
It's been amazing seeing what everybody on this show has said. It's been amazing, the comments that have come in, and it just shows that if we all get together, how much more we will be able to do. So, really, if people watching from different countries would like to set up Aseema support groups in their country, that would really help us in our work. And but over here to this panel, this has been like the heart of Aseema, as well as many of the people you saw here today. So, they say that you have to have work with a head and a heart, and Aseema has, I think, both. And I think what we've been able to, our children have been able to give us also has been truly amazing. It's not just what we are all teaching the children, it's what we are learning from the children every single day, which I think many of the speakers today spoke about, is that, and this is how we are growing. And we hope that this is the story of the first 25 years, and I'm hoping that the story of the next 25 years will be told by some of the young people on this panel. So really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you to every one of you. I just want to show you some comments. Rekha says, yes, Dilbar, the force of working as a community is amazing. Monica says, Dilbar ma'am is an inspiration. Aseema is responsible for illuminating numerous lives. Susan says, congrats, Dilbar. Thank you for your life-changing work and writing your story. This is the book, everybody. Please get it. Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries. And my friend, Dr. Tachi, is watching, and Mark Lee is watching from Durham, North Carolina. Dr. Tachi is watching from Florida. She's an amazing communicator about all kinds of very important topics. And the fact that she's watching, she will share this with her audience as well. So everyone, please tag your friends, share it with them. They can join us and they can participate and help Aseema continue the mission of helping young people for decades and decades. So we're going to say goodbye. Santosh, thank you very much. Anjali, thank you very much. Varun, thank you. Christine, thank you. And Mamta, thank you for coming in early every day and being there with us. Dilbar, you're going to stay for just a couple of minutes. We're going to watch a video, and I want you to respond as we watch this video. It's a video of a young man who you know very well, and we're going to see that video right now. So let's pull it up, and let's play the video from Sachin Mishra.
Hi everyone, myself Sachin. I'm doing my Masters in Computer Application from Vivekananda Institute of Technology. Yes, I love Aseema. In fact, all the students of Aseema love Aseema because it is very much different from schools that are there in the city. Aseema is not just a school, it's a family. If you see a child in a family, there are various requirements a child has. So all the requirements are fulfilled by the family. So same happened with us. All the requirements that were there for me as a student, as a child, were well taken care. For example, we were taught values, which is very important, which lays the foundation with respect to the growth of a student. Along with that, we were also given educational values. I was personally very much motivated in the field of science. I used to do lots of scientific experiments during my school days, like learning the application of circuit by building games. And then my interest increased in astronomy after going through several chapters which were there in geography and science. So because of that, I pursued science, and yes, right now I'm doing computers, trying to make best out of it. So yes, right now after leaving school, I have got lots of support. When I say support, it is not only financially but also the moral support that student needs. So I'm very much thankful to them, and I also hope that once I reach a stage in my life where I can help other kids, I will definitely contribute to Aseema. Thank you so much.
Wow. Amit Mishra says, it's wonderful to see Sachin. I taught him in class 6 and 7, and that's beautiful. And Mark says, love seeing students make a difference in the world. Dilbar, talk a little bit, please, about your thoughts right now.
Sachin had been with us. he came, joined us, and he's from UP, from Uttar Pradesh, and he came to us when he was about 10 years old, and he was struggling to, his parents were wondering where to put him in school because he had not studied English before. Finally, he was admitted to one of our schools, which we had newly adopted in Bandra East. And we found him to be an exceptionally bright boy. And not only bright, he picked up studies quickly, he learned the language quickly. He also was very good in judo, he was good in chess, he was good in cricket, he was interested in that, though he said his parents didn't encourage him to, do too much judo, worrying that he would get hurt. But he was always very interested in science. And today he's already told you a story and what he's studying, computers, etc. This just goes to show that at Aseema we don't just stick to any kind of one stream. If you see our students, some of them are good in art, some are good in music, some are good in sports. So we provide a whole different kinds of opportunities to the children. And this is seen in our alumni also. Many of them have taken up, not just gone to university and studying just science or commerce or art, but they've joined different fields, graphic art and fine arts, and some studying to be art teachers, some are doing vocational training, so this is what we try to do. We try to tap the potential of every child. Every child in the school is different. And that is why a well-rounded education, a very holistic education is extremely important. And this is what I think makes Aseema's education so different and so important. And it's something we would like really for a lot more schools to kind of adopt this kind of an approach. And it would be very happy even governments were willing to do it, because it's teaching the children to think, to question, to become good human beings, and it's focusing on so many different aspects of their lives.
Become good human beings. What else is important in the world? And you've done that for the planet, and you've done that for India, and you're inspiring so many people around the world. Dilbar, thank you so much for everything you've been doing. Look at these great comments. I cannot even show all the comments. Everyone, please keep sharing your love in the platform you're in right now. We're live on Instagram, we're live on Twitter, we're live on YouTube, we're live on LinkedIn, live on Facebook, we're live on aseema.org, and we want to hear from everybody, and we want to support and send all our love to the Aseema team who's watching. By the way, Neelima, I believe, used to work with you, and now she says, I'll be very happy to work with Aseema again. So we're doing some HR here, also some recruiting also, Dilbar, while we're doing this. So this is great. I'm so touched to be part of this. I want to thank you for doing that. Folks, we have a blockbuster panel coming up in just a moment, but we also, speaking of blockbusters, we have a special video that we want to show you before that, and then Dilbar and I are going to reflect on it, and then we're going to go to our panel, and I'm just going to read, people get blurbs from famous people for books all the time, Dilbar, you know that. You try to find the most famous people you can. You got Priyanka Chopra to do it. To me, the voice that you have in here that's really important for everybody to understand is a voice of a man who made some of the most iconic, important films of the last 20, 25 years. And he says this book truly deserves to be read. He said this extraordinary work is always accomplished with great skill and humility. I'm delighted that Dilbar has chosen to write the story of Aseema. It deserves to be widely read, and Aseema deserves to be equally widely supported. So you're not hearing that from me, folks. That's not my voice. That's the voice of the next gentleman you're about to see on camera. Joining us via video is one of the most important filmmakers of the last many decades. I'm a big fan, and this movie that he made, which has a connection to Aseema, as you will hear, is so important. So let's roll the tape.
Hello, I'm Danny Boyle, and I am so sorry not to be with you today, because I wanted to add my voice to those welcoming and recommending Dilbar's book, Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries. I have known her and Aseema for more than 14 years now. I first encountered Aseema's work when our team was in India to make the movie Slumdog Millionaire, which went on to win many awards in 2009, Oscars and BAFTAs. But the credit for the film belongs to some large extent to Aseema's children, who perform so beautifully in the film. Since those heady days, I've kept in touch with Dilbar and Aseema and their work, and I've been greatly impressed to see them thrive in so many ways. Their extraordinary work is always achieved with a mixture of such skill and humility. I'm delighted that Dilbar has chosen to write Aseema's story. It deserves to be widely read, and Aseema's work deserves to be equally widely supported. I hope you have a great event. Best wishes always.
Danny Boyle, everybody. He is so humble. He said it won a few awards. It won 8 Oscars, 7 BAFTAs. He has made so many other iconic films, as people know, including films that everybody has seen: Trainspotting, Shallow Grave, The Beach, 28 Days Later, and Steve Jobs, the movie. And then I'm going to make a plug for his film, because I don't think enough people have seen this, Dilbar. I don't know if you have. The movie Yesterday, about the Beatles and about a young Indian boy in the UK who is a musician. He's a failed musician, and suddenly something happens and the world forgets the Beatles ever existed. And so he remembers the Beatles, so he starts playing the music. It's an incredible movie. I've seen it 4 times. Every time I see one particular scene, I tear up, because anyone who's seen that movie knows what that scene is. But it's an amazing film. If you love the Beatles, you have to watch it. If you love Danny Boyle, you have to watch it. It's called Yesterday, and it's fantastic. The fact that Dilbar hasn't seen it tells me that more people need to see it. She's a friend of Danny Boyle. Danny, as you heard, is grateful to Aseema for the role that Aseema played in helping find those kids, those young kids that were in the movie. They were the stars of the film. So Dilbar, over to you.
First of all, I have to see this film now. And the one thing you said about Danny Boyle is his humility. He truly is like a really humble person. I'll never forget the first time he visited our school. We were having a sports day, and he came with his producer, Christian Colson, and these 2 little children who had acted in the movie Slumdog Millionaire were so delighted to see him. And he really cared for them. It's not that they were just children who had acted in one of his movies, but he used to come every year to see the children, every year to find out, meet the parents, see what they were doing, how they were progressing in school, and gave them homes, nice homes to live in, etc. He also visited our Igatpuri school. He had come once, and he was in India for a short time, but he drove all the way to Igatpuri, and the children over there and the people there had not seen Slumdog Millionaire. But Danny Uncle was a great favorite of theirs, because he sat on the floor with them and they played with all the material. So yes, a wonderful human being. We've known him for years. He has helped us a lot, especially in the Kherwadi Municipal School, which we adopted many years ago. And we are really happy to have, supporters like him.
What a voice! What a person!
Wonderful
What a person to have in your corner, Dilbar.
Yes.
And that movie was so important, and it showed India, in all its sides, right? India is not just one story that we often hear in the media. It's multiple stories, and everyone who has seen that film knows that the lives of so many Indian children, that their lives are so difficult, and you have done so much to touch their lives, improve them whatever way we can, and we all are called to do that. Aseema's children are the future of our country. So nice that someone like Danny Boyle is promoting Aseema. And we also saw a comment that he directed the Olympic ceremony in 2012 and in London, and I didn't mention that. So there's just so much. There it is, Ramesh talking about that. So an incredible man. You bring people together, Dilbar. You have this quality that brings people together. You saw I tweeted that the only book I took on my trip to Puerto Rico was yours, and I read it because it's such an important story. Govinda says the incredible work being done in Mumbai and Gatpuri to uplift children from marginalized communities is a true testament to your vision and leadership. I'm going to put the book on the screen again one more time so that everybody can see it. Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries. And one thing I will say, the book is also not just about stories, visuals, not just written stories, but just these beautiful small illustrations. Talk about those quickly if you can, and then we'll go to our panel. I love this. Look at this here. This is beautiful.
Oh, that's the lady who gave us the land in Igatpuri, Sitabai Kauji Mengal, who I spoke about earlier on the show. And
Yes.
the illustrations have been done by one of our alumni, Ashish Gaikwad, together with his friend. Oh, that's our wonderful Varsha teacher, the one who's started our art program. And thanks to her, we have this wonderful art project at Aseema. Yes, these are the two. Ashish Gaikwad is our alumni, and Vicky is his dear friend. They painstakingly did. We had collected wonderful photographs over the years, and they made illustrations from them. So really, as I mentioned before, Shri, this is a book of a lot of people. A lot of people came together to make it. Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do, folks. That was just the first hour. We have another hour with a blockbuster panel, as I said. Neil, let's just show people who's coming up so that Dilbar can just tell me how she saw the second hour versus the first hour, how we conceived this, and then we'll bring everybody on. And then she'll join us later at the end of the hour. Go ahead, Dilbar. Reflect on these folks. Yeah.
Sure. This panel consists of academics who've been teaching in different universities, etc. Some of them I know personally really well. Some of them have been friends for over 50 years, and many of them are on our board of advisors. They've helped us over the years. They are going to be talking about Aseema's education approach. While we took you through the journey of Aseema, what we've been doing all these years, some of the wonderful, our alumni, etc., these people will talk about what is so special about our approach, and is it applicable to other institutions? What do they think of our approach? We would love to hear them speak, Shri. So I think if we can bring on the panel, it would be great to hear them. Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited to have them all. So what we'll do is, Dilbar, we'll let you get a break. Text your friends and tell them to join us. There's a whole other hour, and we're on all the channels. So everybody, please keep tagging. Tell your friends. They can watch us live or later. I'm Sri Srinivasan. I'm a friend of Aseema. You know about friendsofasema.org and aseema.org. But I'm a friend of Aseema, and I'm delighted and honored to be your host for today. We had an amazing first hour. We went a little over, but it was absolutely worth it. You all heard from the amazing Danny Boyle, a teacher, a student, an alum. You heard from Dilbar. You heard from Dilbar's friends. You heard from so many folks. And now we are going, I'm a former professor, and so I'm delighted to welcome a whole bunch of professors. We're going to come on. What we're going to do is, you saw that card with all their amazing faces there. We're going to bring them on one at a time. I'm going to just have them say hello, and then we'll go to the full panel so that we can just get a moment with each of them. So let's tell you all about the whole group that's coming, and I'm going to start with Minaz, and Minaz is going to join us. Minaz is part of our session that we're doing here, and we're just so glad that she could be with us. Minaz has co-authored 5 books and several papers, including award-winning publications. Her interests include nonprofit, entrepreneurship, volunteerism, women's empowerment. Is an associate professor at the University of Sharjah and the University of Toronto. So let's say hi to Minaz.
Hi.
Hi, Minaz. How are you?
Happy to be here. Happy to share my little thoughts on Aseema. Big thoughts, rather. On Aseema.
Big thoughts on Aseema. Just tell us where you are and how you first connected to them, and then we'll bring on each panelist so we can all talk together.
I'm in Toronto right now, and I met Aseema while I was looking for a good NGO to support. I did a big search because I study NGOs, and I actually pinpointed Aseema as the NGO to support, and I trailed Dilbar, wandering around, watching what she was doing, how she was interacting with children. And then I realized this is my NGO, and I've never looked back. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. I have you on close up there. Beautiful photographs behind you. Tell us about that one painting behind you. That's so beautiful. Or is it a painting or photograph? I love it. And you have so many books also there.
Yeah. These are paintings mainly from India, from different artists. But today is Aseema's day.
Okay, look at you. You're on. You know the assignment, as they say. You got the assignment. Thank you, Minaz. We're going to come back after we meet everybody. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your support of everything that Aseema does. So our next panelist who's going to join us is Indra Munshi. Indra retired as professor and head of Department of Sociology at the University of Mumbai, has researched and published on subjects which include tribal communities and forest issues. Her major publications include her books, Adivasi Life Stories, Constraint, Context and Choices, and Adivasi Question, Issues of Land, Forest, and Livelihood. Well, we are very happy that Indra can be with us. Hi, Indra. Thank you very much for being here. Tell us where you are at the moment and how you came to support Aseema.
Well, I'm in Hyderabad just now. I stay in Bombay, but right now I'm in Hyderabad. Extremely happy to be on the panel. Always happy to speak about Aseema. So I'm very happy to speak about my experience in Aseema. However, I met Dilbar because a friend advised her to meet me when she started contemplating starting a school in Igatpuri. And somebody told her, common friend told her that I had done some work with tribal communities and that she could meet me. And I blessed that day. I blessed that friend. We met and we kept meeting. And we kept meeting and we meet more and more and more. And now I think I meet her at school or at home, talking about Aseema every week. And well, that's it. I try to give to Aseema whatever is in my capacity, whatever I am capable of giving. And I get a lot from Aseema. I get a purpose. I get meaning and purpose. I take academics very seriously. It is my passion. But then to work with children in this school with all the ideas that one may have, collected in all the long years, and then to bring it to a school of underprivileged children has been something that I can only thank Aseema for. I thank them. When they thank me, I sort of tell them, please, may I thank you for giving me a purpose and a meaning and a wonderful side business, which is becoming primary business now because my academic work, it is there. But Sri, I cannot tell you what it is to be with Aseema.
I'm only feeling it from afar, and I know. So I can imagine working there, researching, being on the ground with them must be so special. So thank you for being here. We're going to go to our next panelist, and then we're going to come back and have a great conversation. So thank you very much. We're going to go to Vibhas, the Dean and R. John Chappell Junior Dean's Chair at Drexel University's LeBeau School of Business, an economics professor. He previously led the econ department and founded the School of Economics within the college. Madan's research focuses on international trade theory, trade policy, multinational firms, and he's been published everywhere. So I have to, as we bring him on, the first thing to ask Vibhas is, hi Vibhas, first thing to ask you, somebody of your background, working with a humble school, humble children, doing such important work. Tell us about that story and how that connection happened and why it happened.
Okay, Sriya, very nice to be here. I'm really honored to be part of this panel. I'm actually new to this whole engagement with Aseema. Thank you to my friend Mukul Pandya, who is also going to be on this panel. So the way this all began was Mukul and I were having a conversation and seeing all the incredible things Aseema is doing, and we focused on that art project, the whole idea of education through art and how that could be expanded. And then we had some of the schools, the students at the business school here work with Aseema, look at them and see how we can expand that. So that's how all of this journey really began in terms of my connection. And then, the thing which I did recently was something which you did. I just heard from you. I took that book with me, the only book with me. I was back in India visiting my father. I'm right now in Philadelphia. And I read that and finished it a couple of hours before I landed. And it was just so moving. Just the journey, the perseverance, the focus at the end, going through these hurdles. And then at the end, it's always that smiling face of the child, which kind of drives everybody. So again, that's, I really feel this is just such an incredible story and so much more to come. So really happy to be here with everybody.
Thank you, Vibhas. That's beautiful, and I really appreciate your being with us. We will bring you back in just a moment. Let's say hi to Dr. Albi Anand-Kurian, marketing faculty at Exeter Business School. He's a global marketing practitioner, theorist, educator, and founder of Emphasis, a marketing consultancy. He has worked with multinationals like P&G, Unilever, Coca-Cola, just brand names everywhere. So we are delighted to welcome on stage with us Albi Anand-Kurian. Hi.
Hi, Sri. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to be with you and to be with Dilbar and with Aseema. It's a rare privilege.
So tell me where you are right now, and reflect on what you've seen and kind of been thinking about Aseema and what you've seen from the show so far.
I'm right now in Cambridge in the UK, but I know the early days of Aseema, which is very precious to me. I've known Dilba as a student at the Government Law College. We were very close friends, and I think I saw some of the characteristics that led to Aseema's wonderful success later on, because Dilba's idealism was always crystal clear to everybody in college, and Government Law College was the premier law college of the time, and there were so many differing opinions, so many factions, and the only person who could appeal and who could guide everybody together was Dilba. And I think those abilities and that idealism and those capabilities are really demonstrated in Aseema today. And then, of course, I saw the early days of Aseema. I remember attending, I think it was a HSBC program where Aseema the students were, and these are early days of Aseema, and the students were doing judo and yoga. So there was a lot of idealism, but I think what really struck me, even in those early days, that Dilba always kept the standards high. She didn't say, "Oh, this is this is social work, so we therefore need to lower the standards. We don't have as much of a budget as maybe some international school." But she never did that. It was the standards were always high. And she somehow, and that is the magic of Dilba, she managed to meet those very, very high standards.
Well, that's not a surprise, and I'm so glad to hear that. Everyone, we are celebrating this book, Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries, Dilbar's book, this book of Aseema, and the book that belongs to everybody who has supported, been a student, etc. And we'll come back to Dr. Kurian in just a moment. Always, by the way, great to see a fellow Malayali, and great to connect with you as well. And this is the power that Dilbar and Aseema have, right? They're connecting people who we should know each other, Doc, but we don't. So I'm glad we do. Same with everybody else who's been here. So we're going to take you off for just a moment, and then we're going to come back because we have another great guest who is joining us. We are so happy that we are now joined by my dear friend of 30 plus years, someone who just gives all the time. There are people in the world who ask a lot, and then there are people who give a lot. And there's one person I know who always is giving and is so kind to everybody around him, and that is Mukul Pandya. Let me tell you about him before he comes on screen. Mukul has not just been a friend to me, but to so many people. He's an associate fellow at the Said Business School at Oxford and is a consulting editor there. He's the founding editor-in-chief and executive director of the Knowledge at Wharton where he was there for 22 years before he retired, much too young. And he has more than 40 years in journalism and has won numerous awards and contributed to the New York Times and so many other places. I can only say so much in this forum about Mukul, but I want him to come on here and I want to thank him for bringing us all together. So where is my friend Mukul Pandya? Hi, Mukul.
Hi, Shri. That was a very glowing introduction. My mom had been around; she would have been very proud.
Well, I don't think you got the exact shade of the Aseema yellow, but you've certainly you tried your best, and that's how much Aseema flows through you that you even got your room to look a little like it. I recognize one of the paintings behind you from the online auction we did for Aseema at the heart of the heart of the pandemic, when things seemed so bad, and you brought us all together, and Aseema persevered through the pandemic. And of course, Friends of Aseema was launched during the pandemic. They got the 501c3 status at that time. So you've been watching now for an hour and a half. I hope you've stood up and stretched, because I have not. So tell me what you're thinking at the moment.
I just wanted to say something about the painting that you mentioned, which is behind me. So I reconnected with Dilbar in 2002, and I had known her in college previously. We were very good friends, like Albi said, at St. Xavier's College in Mumbai in the 1970s. But when we reconnected and I saw these paintings, even all the years that I was at Wharton, I would keep the paintings behind me or in front of me in my office. And I do that even today. And the reason is very simple. As you know, university life can be very, very stressful. All kinds of challenges come up from time to time. And each time I felt like my day was not going well, I would just turn and look at the painting and try to imagine the life of the child who had made it. And in spite of the ugliness of the circumstances in which they had to survive, the fact that they had created such beauty was always a source of great inspiration for me. And it somehow always, whatever problems I was dealing with, first world problem I was dealing with, it always put my life in perspective. And so what I would like to say is that over the years, Aseema and Aseema's children and Dilbar's friendship have given me far more than I have ever been able to give them. And that has been a real honor and a privilege.
I can feel your emotion. I can feel your love, Mukul. Thank you for being there for Dilbar, for supporting her as she goes about doing so much to help the world, as you do in so many ways. But that connection that you made, remind us where you met and when and what age?
So we were 17 years old, I guess, when we were in college. So when Dilbar referred to some friends for 50 years, I guess. So she's very young, but I've known her.
She is. By the way, she doesn't know this, but she's off camera. She's not on camera with us now, but I can see her backstage, and I can see her just smiling greatly. And if she doesn't mind, we're just going to bring her here just to say hi for a moment. There you are, Dilbar. Sorry to surprise you, but I just wanted you to be able to talk to him for just a moment. I'm going to take myself off, and then we're going to get back on track to talk to all these wonderful academics who are with us. So I'm going to just go off screen for just.
Hi, Mukul. Yeah. Yes, it's been over 50 years. Yeah. And you thanked us, but I have to thank you, Mukul, for all that you have supported us with for over these last 20 years. Yeah. You've helped us with the art auction. You've brought all these wonderful people, all these, the senior people in from different academic fields here, and to support Aseema. So thank you very much for that. Yeah. And I think what is wonderful is that uh, what goes behind all the, we see the beautiful paintings, we see the lovely products of the children, but you know what goes behind it all, what goes behind running all the schools. And that's what you're trying to help us with, which really means a lot to us. Yeah. So
No, I think that's true, Dilbar, and in many ways you are sort of the secret sauce that makes Aseema work. But I think there's one other thing that I have always admired very much about Aseema, which is I have worked with, I've seen many NGOs, and India alone has, I think, more than 200,000 NGOs, many of which are involved in education. Many of them, in their pursuit of, funding, which is, part of the lifeblood of any NGO, are content to make a superficial impact on a lot of people. And because they are trying to demonstrate scale in order to prove themselves to the donors. And in the process, they tend to shortchange what they do for their primary constituency, which is the students and the teachers. And they sort of shortchange that. I think that's a very short-sighted approach. It doesn't have much, ultimately doesn't have much impact because the impact is very superficial. And what I've always admired about the work that you have done with Aseema and the way you've built it, and it's actually reflected in the way the past 2 hours, so many people from around the world have been, gathering to support Aseema, is the fact that you can make a very deep impact. Even if the number of students is 4,000 or 9,000, and not hundreds of thousands of students, but you can make a very, very deep impact on them, and that is life-changing. I mean, we heard that from Varun, we heard that from, Mamta, and this is true, I think, truly unique about Aseema, and which I really admire about the work that you and the Aseema team have done. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Mukul. But I think I wish more people thought like you, because in today's world, it's all about scale and numbers. Yeah. And it's wonderful to have people who know how important this work is, how you need to look at the child holistically, how you need to kind of look at nutrition and health and all the other co-curricular activities to make education complete. Yeah. So I wish there were many more people like you and who would see this and help us to, kind of reach out to more children and do better for them. Yeah.
It all starts with this book. Everybody get this book. You can find it at all your online bookstores. And if you're in India, of course, you can get it in India directly. But please get the book. Support Aseema through aseema.org. contact@aseema.org is the email. And of course, there is friendsofasema.org outside India in the US. And she'll be more than happy to talk to you about how you can start chapters and organizations around the world to help students in this very meaningful way. So Dilbar, we'll say goodbye to you for the moment. We'll bring you back toward the end. And everyone, that's Mukul Pandya. I'm Sri Srinivasan. And we're going to bring back, Mukul, if it's okay with you, everybody who has joined us, this amazing group of academics who are busy, very, very busy, but they are giving us part of their Saturday. So we're grateful to each one of you. Thank you. What a great group they are. Mukul, you want to reflect on each of them for a moment, and then I'll ask them a question as well.
Oh, I mean, it has been my honor to work with each person on this panel. Minaz, Indra, Vibhas, Albi. It has been such a joy. to share the meaning and purpose that I have found in the work with Aseema, with each of you. And I'm so grateful to you for your kindness and your generosity and your friendship. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much.
Well, this is a powerhouse group, folks, in the world of academia. These are people who could have studied other things, researched other things, been connected to other things, but they've chosen to support Aseema, and that's a lesson for all of us. I'm going to just ask some quick questions. Let's go to Minaz first. I want to ask you about what elements of Aseema's approach do you think contribute most to their creating what we call leaders of tomorrow?
So I study NGOs as part of my work, and I've looked at several NGOs. What struck me about Aseema is it not only, many NGOs want to give education where there was no education. Aseema goes way beyond that. What it does is it creates a life-changing thing. It's got this wonderful program of creating values as part of its education. Alongside, it offers many extracurricular activities, almost giving a private school education. And then, because of the love and respect the children get, they have an amazing confidence where they are living the learning. And there's a great love of learning. So what Aseema is doing is not just bringing out students, it's creating the leaders of tomorrow. A very small example, I invited some students home, and one of the young ones says to me, "Do you know how many stars there are in the sky?" And I said, "Many, many." Oh, no, she wouldn't accept that. She began telling me how many stars there are in the sky, how high the mountains were, how many mountains there are, how many continents there are. She was enjoying the process of learning. And to me, that was the confidence that she spoke with and the joy that learning brought to her was amazing, because I've looked at other NGOs where they just get by with education. So to me, I see this process as creating a holistic person. The holistic process creates a person who is able to readily stand on their own feet, and not only stand, but lead others. I wish this method could be spread to other NGOs. We are trying that. I'm at Aseema, where Aseema's teachers are already they're already training other schools to get this a part of the same method, which is so holistic. And I wish it would just spread around. Thank you. Yeah.
That's my fault, folks. In the prep, I was telling everybody, make sure you unmute, and I made the mistake myself. So, but thank you, everybody, and thank you, Minaz, for those very important comments. I'm going to go to Indra to talk about your work with the tribal communities. And there are even in the tribal communities, thankfully, there are many organizations working on these issues. What is the difference about the way that Aseema works, and what are some lessons we can use as all of us who want to help the tribal communities, the underprivileged communities, where these are the folks who've been around India the longest, and we want to help them, and they often need the most help?
Sri, maybe what I will do is, yes, there are many organizations, and I think India stands out in that respect. In every district, there are so many different NGOs working. Some of them are doing good work. Some of them spread wide rather than dig deep. They have different sort of methods of working, and I don't want to right now sort of give an overview of what NGOs are doing, because some of them are doing useful work in different ways. And there are political organizations who are also doing a very different kind of education. most of the time, let me say, most of the time, especially the well-funded ones, the less known ones, the ones that are limited, very few people know about them, and I may know them if I'm working in a district. But most of them who are very well known, who have spread wide, are thinly spread. They are thinly spread. And I think they get a lot of funding. And there was a time when in sociology, for example, there was a lot of critique of NGOs. We were very wary of the way NGOs were functioning. Aseema, all in all, is different. Now, having said that, let me talk about Igatpuri experience at Igatpuri. Dilbar came to me and spoke to me about wanting to start a school in Igatpuri. Of course, I know I have been in touch with tribal communities for nearly 50 years now. When I first entered a tribal community, it was, about 50 years ago. And I couldn't get out of tribal communities. I was just so attached, and academically and emotionally and in every way, and in terms of my duty engaged with these communities, I decided that I would continue to work while I was doing other things. However, when Dilbar came and talked about wanting to open a school, having known little about Aseema, but having known and heard about Dilbar, I was very happy. My problem was that the task would be much more difficult. You see, having worked in a slum, I knew what it was, what slum life was all about. We may stay 2 kilometers away from a slum. We have no idea what living in a slum is. We have absolutely no idea what rural India is like. We have no idea. We have no idea what tribal situation is like. I see them as the most underprivileged, most ignored, most invisibilized. And I knew how difficult it was going to be. I knew that it was going to be, it's like there are no Pakka roads. There are no small roads even which would bring children to come to the school. And tribals are very distrustful of outsiders. They have a long history and a lot of reason for doing so. I had told Dilbar that. I also knew it was a big decision and a difficult decision for parents to decide whether to keep a 9-year-old at home to look after the younger children and cook and do housework, or to send her or him to school. It was difficult not to send them to work and earn a little something for the house. It was difficult for them to send these children to school when they could have gone and foraged in the forest and provide the evening's meal. I knew it. Unfortunately, I knew it too well over 50 years. I told Dilbar all this, but once I saw Dilbar wanted to do it, and once I saw her passion and my own passion, which I was trying to suppress, wanting to be very objective about it, I think we met, and then we did it. We did it in terms of they did it. I merely sort of, made them aware, conscious of how to deal with certain issues that would arise, what to do, how to get on. I think it has been a very meaningful experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Look at all these comments that we've been having. It's so great. We are delighted that we could be with all our great speakers. I'm going to now go to Vibhas to just get him in here. And the question is, what aspects of the educational model of Aseema do you find most innovative or impactful, or the ones that we can learn from?
Thank you, Sri. So First I just want to say a couple of quick things. Again, just listening to Dilbar and Mukul earlier, and so key that you stay true to the core and don't let scaling dilute what you're doing, which is so incredibly important. So just staying true to that internally is just so important, and I'm so happy to see that is the focus of Dilbar and the whole team. I'll say in terms of the education, sometimes the impact is also a function of the context. And as Dilbar mentioned earlier, the whole idea of the importance of what is happening outside the classroom. And really a focus on that, the holistic approach which you talked about, which to me is really key in terms of the innovation and the impact which it has. At the same time, as we heard earlier, not sacrificing any rigor in the classroom. So this dual approach is what is really key in terms of the innovation which is happening here. And one thing I'll say, which in addition to just the curricular stuff, the art and the judo and everything else, the way things are structured, Aseema, with that bond between the student and the teacher, and the environment which is created for the students to think, to analyze, to learn on their own. And that, to me, a key phrase which came to mind reading all of this and knowing what Aseema does is giving the student an ownership of their own learning. So the whole idea of an ownership of their own learning is a key part of this model. And I know we talk about extracurricular stuff, but that to me is the ownership of their own learning is what really drives this. And what that lends to is something else in my mind. If you think about it, this is an example of the students are not being brought up, they're really growing. The growing up of them as students rather than being brought up in other educational contexts. And the meaning, when I said context is important, if you think about this idea of ownership of your own learning and growing up instead of being brought up, it also aligns with what happens outside the school with a lot of these children. If you think of the background, the context they're coming up, these kids are not being brought up, they're growing up. And that's what's reflected in the classroom and in the model here, the ownership of their own learning. I think that's truly innovative and very impactful.
Boss, that was light bulb moment for a journalist. If I was reporting on this, that's what I would write down, because that's what you said, that they're not being brought up, they're growing up, they're owning their own learning. That's beautiful and important and different. And we're not saying any other model is wrong or this is better. It's just different and is having impact. And experts like you and everyone else on this panel being able to validate that is so important. So thank you. I'm going to bring Dr. Albi in just to ask him about the marketing approach for an NGO like our friends at Aseema. What are things that they can keep harnessing? What are things you would encourage them to try new things? The world has changed even over these 25 years, even the last 5 years, as you know, Albi. So talk about that, please.
Absolutely. I think Dilbar mentioned about scaling up and that, everybody's in the numbers game today, but we have to look at it slightly differently. One of the things I noticed, because I was living in Bandra in the early days when Aseema was growing, and one of the things I noticed was that the number of children in Aseema may have been limited, but I could see that those children were inspiring a great deal of others who were living and playing with them, possibly in the slums, in the streets, etc. So in a sense, even though it is not a conventional scaling up, Dilbar mentioned it, so I'm taking it, it's not a conventional scaling up, but it's a scaling up in a different way. The Aseema children are inspiring other children around them in the neighborhood, in the streets that they play in the areas that they grow up in. That's number one. There's another aspect to the scaling up that I think is rather nice. I remember being with Mukul at Wharton, and on his mantelpiece were all Aseema art objects, and we talked about this as well, the scaling up, and we said that I think one of the things that strikes me is that Dilbar's Dilbar is a very unique personality, a very unique blend of idealism and, if I could use the word, professionalism. In the sense, I mean it in the sense that she uh, holds up a very high standard from everybody, and that combination is wonderful. And I think that will inspire a new way of working for social work organizations, or NGOs as we call them. Uh, I am associated with quite a few, and I do agree that there's wonderful work being done. But if you can combine these two aspects, that you have, obviously, most social work organizations, most NGOs, as we call them, will be highly idealistic. But the fact that you can also expect a high standard of professionalism, that you can expect the education to be high quality, that you can demand that these schools will produce children and students who are as good as any other. That is something that I think will inspire other NGOs and other social work organizations, and that will scale up. So it will be scaling up in a different kind of way.
Sure. And Santosh says Mr. Korean has got the point right on how each student impacts his family and his and her community. Beautiful. Sapna says, congratulations. We are getting close to the end. We're not quite done. This book, everyone must please get this book, support Aseema. So many ways in which you can support it. The book is called Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries, Dilbar Parak, illustrated by Ashish Gaikwad and Vicky Thorat. And on the book is a comment from Priyanka Chopra Jonas, I'm sorry, where she says that imagine a world in which education transcends borders, allowing every child to reach their limitless potential. And she has a lot of potential online, as we all know, and she went out of her way today to post this on Facebook and on Twitter, aseema.org. And everyone, please share this with your friends. It's a book that I have read, I have marked up, because we all have so much to learn. The Dalai Lama is quoted in here. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. So just a taste of what's in the book. So many lessons from the 25-year journey of Dilbar. So what I'm going to do now is to bring Dilbar back and have her talk to us and reflect as we start to wrap up. We want to give everyone a chance to have a final thought. Who's on the panel, of course, we'll do that too. And then I must play again the Danny Boyle video to end the show, because it was so powerful and so meaningful. So everyone, thank you so much for being here, Dilbar. You've been watching from backstage. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? Stage is yours.
I've learned so much today hearing each one of the members of this panel, and it's been wonderful seeing you all. First of all, some of you I'm seeing after 30 years. I'll be maybe 30 years. Yeah. Yes. Minaz and Indra I meet really often. We meet over, as she mentioned, over cups of tea at her beautiful home very regularly, discuss a lot of things about Aseema and other things. Minaz, I see her every time she comes to India and we keep in touch. She and her husband Mo have been wonderful supporters. Mukul we've already spoken. I don't know what we would do with Mukul. He is, as you said, he's wonderful in bringing people together. You mentioned that about me, Shri, but I can see Mukul is the one who has kind of brought us all together, people who I've known also for so many years, but seeing them here for the first time. And Vibhas, it's wonderful to meet you and to hear what you have had to say. I first of all want to thank all the members of this panel. What you have said is been amazing, because the first, Minaz, you mentioned the bond and the respect we give to every child. That is so critical. That is the heart of our approach. Albi, you mentioned the professionalism, the quality. We try to live up to those high standards, because these children, when they go out, have to compete in the world with so many others. If we don't give them that, we've not done them justice. So we have to hold on to those high standards. Vibhas, what you mentioned, be true to the core. That is extremely important for us. We cannot just scale up and, lakhs of students, etc. We have to be able to, it's linked to what Albi said, giving them that quality. Uh, um, uh, Indra, you mentioned about how it's important to look at the family situation, etc., the community work. So critical, yeah. Because sometimes you want the children to do incredibly well, but you know the situation at home. It's such a challenge for us, and it's we really have to work very hard to kind of make achieve those high standards. It's working with children is challenging, but working with marginalized children is so much more challenging. But you've seen wonderful people on this show. Sachin Mishra spoke to us. We know that there are children who can take it further, and we are just hoping to kind of do that with all of them, because all of them have some potential, we believe. So you don't necessarily have to go to a fancy university, but you just do the best you can and be able to do the best for your family, and also kind of become, as we mentioned earlier, good human beings. So much needed in this world, really. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Dilbar. What I'm going to do, in the interest of time, I'm going to ask each of them to just give us kind of one thought, and then we'll say goodbye to each of them. We'll let them get on with their Saturdays. And then I'll ask Mukul to stay back, and the three of us will watch the Danny Boyle video and say goodbye to everybody. So, Dean Vibhas, we start with you.
Sure. I'll say, Dilbar, again, such an amazing journey and lots more to come. Last thought on this for me is education, as an economist, I would say, is not just about yourself, but about the positive externalities you create in the world around you. And in this context, the broader impact you're having on the community. And Albi mentioned that. So thank you for the huge positive externalities you're creating in the community, especially with focusing on this particular group of children. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Dean, thank you very much. We'll see you again. We'll let you go. Albi, over to you.
I just want to say to Dilbar, all those years ago in Government Law College, I mean, we were all just friends, but it's been such a rewarding experience to watch Dilbar's contribution to education and the growth of Aseema. And I just want to say that there are many, many exciting years ahead, and there are many, many miles to go. And I'm sure that it's not just Aseema. I think Dilbar's influence is beyond Aseema, in the sense she will inspire a great many other NGOs and social work organizations to do an equally good job.
Thank you. So beautifully said. Thank you, Dr. Korean. Very grateful to you. Enjoy your time.
Shri, if I may just interrupt, I want to invite Albi to our schools. He's not come for a very long time.
I haven't been in India for a long time. I'm so sorry. Yes.
So you have an invitation to India, to Mumbai, yes, to the schools, to Igatpuri, so everything.
Absolutely.
Okay. Don't forget going to Kerala. Very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
By the way, great new Indian restaurant here in New York called Kanyakumari serves excellent Kerala food along with other South Indian food. So we'll see you in New York also. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Indra, over to you. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, go ahead.
Congratulations, Dilbar. Dearest Dilbar, for all the hard work, passion, honesty, concern, love, all that you have given every hour of your waking hours. You have given to Aseema. Every thought. When we meet, I often think, today we'll talk about something light. Dilbar will relax, we will laugh. Finally, we end up discussing Aseema. I'm not unhappy to do it, but I want to give her a break, but that doesn't happen. So anyway, Dilbar, great job done. I am confident. You know, if philosophically speaking, people come and people go, this is an idea that is being created given shape and left behind. Somebody sometime continues it, picks it up, and then it gets another lease of life. Some organization, some teachers, you have gems in your school. I am on several committees, I see these gems. They will continue. Even when you are tired, you may retire. I will be dead and gone, and several others. There are gems who will continue. And in the most difficult circumstances, Dilbar has brought in people who respect these children, who see a potential like Sir Ken Robinson did, creativity, and you see it there. What confidence! One student walks up to me and says, "Hello, teacher, what is your name?" I said, "Well, my name is Indra Munshi." Nice name. I mean, I would hesitate if I saw a professor in the department. He said, "Nice name." And proceeded to get on with his business. I mean, what confidence and what care. We know every student, our social workers know every student's parent who falls ill. They are taken to the hospital, their houses are cleaned up, and the treatment continues. Where will you find this?
You will not. You will not find it. That's
I
amazing.
have not found it.
Indraji, thank you so much. I know you have a lot to share. We have a lot to hear from you, learn from you, but we do have to wrap up. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sri. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. We will meet soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
And over to Professor Minaz. You'll be listening. Your thoughts. Oops, sorry. 1 second. We're just going to unmute. There you go. Please go ahead.
I follow what Indra says. Indra Dilbar, I have done we've had a lot of meetings together. And my wish is this amazing form of education that's so holistic, that actually it's transformative. You take a student from a marginalized community, and what is the end product? You have a student who is smart, who is confident, and is willing to lead others. I remember going to one of the shows in Aseema and asking one of the students who was telling me about the environment. I said, "Who cares if you leave the tap on a wee bit? Well, let's focus on the big stuff in environment." I was doing it to provoke him, and he spoke up right away and said, No, everything matters in the environment." I spoke with authority, but he was willing to confront me on what he knew. This is amazing that a young child coming from this could speak so well on so many subjects. These are the leaders of tomorrow. And my wish is that this method of teaching could be spread to more schools so that we create so many more children who are confident, who love learning, and can be the citizens of tomorrow. It will be a better India altogether. Thank you. And thank you for this. Yeah.
Thank you, Minaz. Thanks so
What a beautiful thing, Minaz. We'll let you go. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Very inspiring words from Canada, coming to New York and going to the world and going to Mumbai, right to Dilbar. So thank you very much. We will let you go. Thank you so much. And now there are two. And there are so many comments coming in, Dilbar. Sagar says, "All the very best to Dilbar, ma'am." Bhagyasri says, "Congratulations." Santosh is saying, "An inspiration for all of us." Dilbar, ma'am will never retire. Aseema is in our blood. I hope you knew that, because now you're stuck, because Rekha has said this. So I do want to thank not just everybody watching, but everyone who took a moment to comment and share on these different platforms. It has made such a difference to bring us all together. Darshana says, "Congratulations, ma'am." Sabina says, "You are an amazing person. God bless you." Online, I use a hashtag, "Thank your mentors." because I don't think we do that enough. A lot of us wait till it's too late to remember our mentors. Remember them today. Dilbar, I'll give you a chance to shout out anybody you would like, someone who with us or who's no longer with us, who helped bring you to where you are today. Some of it is in the book, but talk about that, please.
I think it's first and foremost, it's my parents, Shri. Yeah, I learned a lot from them. My mother, kind and compassionate, always. My father, strict, but taught me a lot of things. Yeah, I've written about it in the book, as you've said. He taught me that I had to never give up. I had to do things I didn't like also. He used to always say what you like to do is easy to do, but the things you don't like, sometimes you have to do and you have to get them done. Yeah. So these qualities, and also I've learned a lot from the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. And when we talk about Aseema's journey and its the perseverance, we've been through such hurdles, court cases, to notices from government authorities, to people within the community telling us that we are going to convert the children, to some ridiculous things that our daughters won't get married till the age of 40. But we have overcome those hurdles. So really we believe in this motto, keep on keeping on, no matter what. Perseverance is the key. Yeah, and we say it at all our meetings, keep on keeping on, we just have to go on. Yeah. And
beautifully said, Dilbar. So beautifully said. Since Mukul is here, I didn't let him go, but so I said, Mukul sir has been nothing but amazing to the Aseema organization. Lots of thanks, and just want to say you made a big change in my life. This person, again, I don't think it's Rowan Atkinson. I think it's someone who loves Rowan Atkinson, which is, of course, wonderful. Thank you again for everybody for being here, for supporting Aseema. Florence says, God bless Aseema. And Fahad says, I can see a beautiful painting on the wall behind you, Mukul sir. People understand what you're doing here right now and the connections you're making. Christine, who's been watching for 2 hours. Christine, what a great supporter you are. Aseema gives the best to those who need it most, rather than just those who are already privileged. What a great way to think about this. And I want to end, if I can, of course, I'll give Mukul and Dilbar a final word, but I want to show everybody this post from Priyanka Chopra that went out to 55 million people on Twitter, on Instagram and on Facebook, and then Twitter, so another several million. That happened this morning, just an hour before we went live. Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries, by Dilbar Parakh, shows us how education can uplift communities. Read and be inspired to create a future where no child is left behind. And links to how to buy it in India and the US. That's an amazing thing. The way that Dilbar is able to bring together the highest, most famous, most influential, richest people in the world, and the most humble, the most underprivileged, the most needy, and make them each feel special, important, connected, and get them inspired to work, to attend, to study, to support, to pay for everything that Aseema does, is a unique and special talent, and she obviously has that. So Dilbar, thank you again. I'm going to give Mukul a chance to give us a final thought. You get a final thought after Danny Boyle gives us a final thought. So go ahead, Mukul.
Thank you, Shri. So congratulations to Aseema for 25 years of amazing work, and I think today was a great learning experience for all of us about the impact that Aseema and Dilbar have had. And I just want to offer the best wishes for the next 25 years and more, so that can continue to change people's lives one act of kindness at a time. But before I just wanted to say a huge thanks to Shri, to Neil, and to the entire Digimentors team, because all this has been possible thanks to you, and you have done such an amazing job in the past 2 hours and helping to bring to light what Aseema has been doing. So thank you so much to you, Shri, and to Neil and everyone. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, and we appreciate those kind words. There's a whole team, including Christian and Deepika and others who are working, and Matteo, who have all worked on this show in various ways. We're grateful to all of them for being with us. And we do this work, as you know, with some big organizations, small organizations. Every organization matters, and we're privileged and honored to be with you. Persis says, Dilbar, it was an amazing morning to hear about Aseema from 2 different panels. Good luck to you and Aseema. Congrats again, Dilbar. Great insight about Aseema, says Ashok Power. And Christine says, Mukul is endlessly creative in thinking of ways to uplift Aseema. I know that firsthand. And Annie Magic says, great job. That's not me. It's all of you and all the people who commented for 2 hours. People have been watching. People come in and out, but there's a core that's been watching, and that's very special. So I have an assignment for everybody. Please share this with your friends and family. Tag them. They can watch it. It'll start up immediately on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitter, and Instagram. It'll be a little while, but aseema.org, it will be there. Please look for the update section and you can watch the video. We want everyone to see this video, and then I'm hoping Dilbar's team will cut up the video and put it up in many different ways, in many different formats, and have Priyanka post it again. And we know that working on a project like this takes a lot of time and effort, and we're grateful to your entire team, Dilbar, that helped with the beautiful graphics and endless meetings to make sure the work is highlighted and we make you shine and have as much impact as possible. Thank you, Sri, for giving this opportunity to Aseema. No, Aseema gave me the opportunity to be with all of you, and that means the world. So we're going to do 2 quick things. We're going to show the Danny Boyle video one more time, and then Dilbar's going to come back and say goodbye. So let's roll the tape, as they used to say, and thank you very much, everyone. Danny Boyle, the director who made Slumdog Millionaire, Yesterday, Train Spotting, and so many other great films, directed the 2012 London Olympic ceremony, now is going to share some thoughts with you.
Hello, I'm Danny Boyle, and I am so sorry not to be with you today, because I wanted to add my voice to those welcoming and recommending Dilbar's book, Aseema, A Journey Beyond Boundaries. I have known her and Aseema for more than 14 years now. I first encountered Aseema's work when our team was in India to make the movie Slumdog Millionaire, which went on to win many awards in 2009, Oscars and BAFTAs. But the credit for the film belongs to some large extent to Aseema's children, who performed so beautifully in the film. Since those heady days, I've kept in touch with Dilbar and Aseema and their work, and I've been greatly impressed to see them thrive in so many ways. Their extraordinary work is always achieved with a mixture of such skill and humility. I'm delighted that Dilbar has chosen to write Aseema's story. It deserves to be widely read, and Aseema's work deserves to be equally widely supported. I hope you have a great event. Best wishes always.
What's there left to say? Amazing, amazing. Dilbar, remind us very quickly what the connection is, and then give us your final thoughts, and then we have to end the show.
Yes, Danny Boyle has been a supporter for many years. He had supported the children who acted in the movie. He had them admitted in our school because he wanted them to really do well. And then he visited the school several times. He kept in touch with the children. He would visit them and their families every year. And since we were looking after the children, that's how we got to know him. He had supported our art auction. He was one of those with whom we had those conversations with the highest bidder. And he has also endorsed the book, and here you saw him live on you saw a video of his on the show asking people to read the book. So he's a wonderful friend of Aseema's, and he really truly supports our work, and we are very happy and proud to know him, Shri. Yeah, and finally, a big thank you to you, Shri, to Neil, to the entire Digimentors team. One secret I'm going to share is that this book almost never got written. It was thanks to the encouragement of my two nieces and of Mukul, that it finally saw the light of day. Yeah. It was, I used to tell them, I said, I'm used to running an organization and working with the children. I'm not used to writing a book, but finally, thank you, all three of you, Zia, Amo, and Mukul, that this book got done. And a big thank you to all those who have watched, to all those who have spent the whole evening with us here, those who are mentioned in the book. This, as I mentioned earlier, this journey is as much yours as it is mine. Yeah. Oh, the artwork of the children and the illustrators, the lovely illustrations in the book. And yes, and this is where the children come from. So, yeah. So thanks once again, Shri. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your even this is so striking how this is all put together. So this is amazing. So
this is one of our schools. The children were looking outside when they were standing on the veranda. Yeah.
So we could go on, but we must end this conversation. To be continued. We'll leave the last word to Sharnavaz Smistry, who says, 3 cheers for Dilbar, her team, and Aseema. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Everyone, please go to aseema.org, sign up, donate, support the book, buy the book, go to Friends of Aseema if you're in the US, donate right now, and it will make a difference. And we are so grateful to everybody. Here's the link to the book in India. And everyone, please support Aseema in everything they're doing, and go to aseema.org right now. contact@aseema.org is the email. And Tinku says, we're so proud of you, Dilbar and Aseema. And thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.